This video will show you how to create your own music in Scratch. So at this point you should have finished your Frere Jacques assignment where we created the song Frere Jacques in Scratch, and your new assignment is to create your own music and to create a dance party here in Scratch. So first step is to go to the Scratch website, which I'm there, and then to also make sure you're logged in. So up here in the upper right hand corner you should see your username. And as long as that's correct, then you are all set to go, and we're going to click on Create. And this will take us to the page where we can create our own dance party. So first step, I'm going to come up here to where it says Untitled, and I'm going to name this Dance Party. And I want to start with a completely blank slate. So I want to get rid of Scratch the Cat. And to do that, I'm going to click on the little scissors right up here. And I'm going to take my scissors and I'm down here to Scratch, and I'm going to cut him out. So right now I have a blank stage and I have no sprites. So I am set with a completely blank stage, and now I need to set everything up. And so I like to kind of think of this as being a movie director. And if you were a movie director, your job is to tell every single person where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there, and what they're supposed to do. And we have to do the same thing as a computer programmer. The computer's only going to do what we tell it, and so we have to tell it exactly where we want it to start. So I'm going to start with my backdrop, or my stage. And so here's my stage, and I'm going to click on the little picture down here, and we've covered this before, and it brings up the backdrop library. So I'm going to choose an indoor backdrop. You can choose whichever backdrop you want. It really doesn't matter. And right here's the party room, and I'm going to choose the party room because this is a dance party. So when I find it, I'm going to click OK. And here, when I've imported that backdrop, it automatically changes to the backdrop tab. So I have my party room, and I'm going to go to my script, and I'm going to tell my stage, when I start this dance party, I'm going to do that with the green flag. So when the green flag is clicked, I need to tell the stage what I want it to do. And when that green flag's clicked, I want it to look like the party room. Okay, so I need to set it so that the stage knows what it's supposed to do when this movie, so to say, starts. Next, I'm going to go to my sprites. So I don't have any sprites set up. So I'm going to go to this little button, and it's going to open up my Sprite Library, where I can import any sprites that I want. And as far as I'm concerned, you can invite whoever you want to your dance party. If you want the bats at your dance party, that's fine. You can scroll down. We've got butterflies, we've got all kinds of animals, and I mean, lots and lots of things. Whatever you want to invite to your party, you can invite to your party. So when I click on one, it's going to show me how many costumes that particular sprite has. And the costumes, remember, are what allow us to make a sprite look like it's moving. So you do want to try to find a sprite that has some costumes. So I'm going to invite this monkey to my party. And he's actually going to be the person who's holding the party. So this is the host of the party. So I've put him here on my stage, but now I'm going to actually drag him where I want him to start in the party. And again, because I'm the director, I have to tell the monkey, when this party starts, where are you supposed to be? And right now, he doesn't have any instructions. So I'm going to go to Events, and I'm going to say, when the green flag is clicked, when this party starts, then in motion, you'll see this go to X and Y. And if you watch, as I move the monkey around the stage, these numbers change. So I'm going to set him on the stage where I want him, and then I'm going to tell him to go to that spot. So when my green flag is clicked, that's where he's going to be standing. Okay? Now I'm going to create what we call a parallel script. And parallel lines are something that you would have learned in math class, and it's where two lines are side by side, but they never intersect. They never interfere with each other. So if you think of like railroad tracks, those are two parallel lines, and they never cross over each other. So the same thing with a parallel script. I'm going to create a parallel script where one is telling the monkey what I want him to do physically, but then I'm going to create one that says when the green flag is clicked, and I'm going to put some music here so that when the green flag is clicked, the music's going to play, and then I'll give the monkey his instructions later. So when it comes to writing your own music, you can do something very, very simple, such as a nursery rhyme. So I'm going to put together Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And when I am trying to figure out what keys to use, I've given you a link to a virtual keyboard, and this is the way that it looks. And middle C is right here, and when I click on it, it plays the middle C sound. And I can continue to go through and play all of the keys. And I can set any of these keys here in Scratch. So I'm going to go to my Scratch page, go to my sounds, and I'm going to say that to play a note. And if I click on this down arrow, I can see that 60 is actually middle C, which is right here on my keyboard. And when I click the green button or the green flag, it plays that note for half of a beat. Now I just so happen want to start on middle C, and then I'm just going to start snapping in my notes here, putting together my song as I go. Now I've already gone through on the keyboard and figured out which keys I wanted. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. And then you'll continue to go through the song, building it as you need to. Now, I actually sat down with a piece of paper and played it out here on the keyboard and figured out which keys I needed to hit first before I actually went into Scratch, and I think that that's really helpful to have all of the keys written down. So now I'm going to go to Scratch, and I am going to put together my code. Okay, so I've gotten the first part of my song put together, and so when I double click on this, it's going to play through all of these notes, and I'm going to listen to it and make sure that there's no errors. Okay, so I actually heard an error in there. It's this note right here, this 67 note, is supposed to be held for twice as long as the other notes. So right here where it says 0.5 beats, I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to change that to a 1. So let's listen to it again. And then the same thing for this last note. It should last twice as long as well. So I'm going to finish going through writing my code. Okay, so here I've set up my next set of code, and I've actually used a repeat block here because the song is going to repeat actually twice. It's going to run through these notes. I've not clicked it on to the other notes, and that's because I want to be able to play through this and double check my timing on this alone. So I'm going to grab this repeat again and drag it back down, and I'm going to double click on repeat and listen to it and listen again for any errors. And again, this last note was supposed to last for a whole beat instead of a half a beat. So I'm going to take that out. And then I'm going to finish coding the rest of mine. So here I am. I have my whole song put together in my code. And now I'm ready to teach my sprite to dance. And so when we were working on the catwalk, we learned how to make a sprite change its costume. So here again is where my parallel costumes or my parallel scripts are going to come into play. It's going to play through this music itself, But then over here, I want my sprite to do something different. So I've already told him that when the movie starts or when the green flag is clicked, I want him standing in this position. Now I'm going to go to my looks, and I'm going to tell him that I want him to go to the next costume, and I also want him to move 10 steps. And I'm actually going to have him tell him, move 10 steps, go to the next costume, and I'm going to put a forever on here. So let's double click on this and see what it does. Okay, so my monkey looks a little crazy when he's moving across the stage. I actually am going to tell him, I don't want you to move 10 steps. I want you to stay right where you are, but I want you to change your costume. So let's see what that does. Okay, so right now he's just going all kinds of crazy. So under control, I can tell him to wait 1 second. And that will slow him down some. So let's see what happens when I do that. Alright, now he's moving a little too slow. We want him to move a little faster than that. So I'm going to double click here on 1 second, and I'm going to change that to 0.5 seconds. So there he's moving a little bit faster. Okay, I could tell him, if I wanted, to maybe move 1 step, go to the next costume, wait a half a second, move a step, move a step, go to the next costume, wait a half a second, move a step, and so on and so forth. The problem is that he's going to continue to go through this forever and ever and ever, which means eventually he is going to walk off the stage. So I'm going to actually take out this move 1 step, and I'm going to have him stand just in this one position, and I'm going to stop it. Now when I hit the green flag, I'll make this big. When I hit the green flag, my monkey is going to go back to my original position, and it should play my music. And because I have him set up for a half a second to change his costume every half a second, and most of the keys also change at half a second, he actually looks like he's dancing to the beat. So in your script, when you're doing your scripts, again, you're going to want to add additional sprites in here. So I could go to my sprite, I could find another sprite, and I could add him in there, and then I could write a script for him so that he's dancing. Now, my monkey is still dancing because I have this forever block on him, but my music has stopped. So I'm going to come over here to my music. I'm going to pull down all my notes. I'm going to go to control, and I'm going to grab this forever block and wrap it around it so that my music will continue to play as long as that green flag has been clicked. And the only way it's going to stop is if somebody hits that red stop sign to stop my dance party. At this time, you should be ready to create your own dance party. It is going to take you probably at least 1 day, if not 2 full days, in order to set up both your stage, your music, and your dance party scripts.